Alright, well, welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today I'm working on the 1968 Barracuda again. I decided I'd attack some of these power steering lines. So this power steering box comes with a, I don't know what size that is, but maybe it's an 8 AM fitting. And we're going to be doing 6 AN fittings everywhere, so I've got a 6 AN half 20 IF, which is going to replace my factory fitting in the steering box. And it has an O-ring, so we'll snug it down tight. I'm going to do a 90-degree off the pump, which that'll be I'll probably route it over and back up to here, because that'll give me a little slack for vibration. Then the output from the gear will go to the reservoir, and then the reservoir will have a feed line that comes to the pump. So 3 short lines. But we want to make them work and have some slack. So if you want to see what I do today, stick around. I've got to figure out where I'm going to put this reservoir. Let me stick the battery in here, see what kind of space we have, because this might be a good spot for it. I did stick the factory radiator back in here just to get some ideas for space, and we're looking pretty good as far as our pulley system is concerned. This is the CVF Raptor. I think it's the Raptor. And it's a nice kit. I'm very, very pleased with it. He's going to allow me to do a trunk-mounted battery, which gets this big heavy hog lower in the car and in the back behind the passenger's rear tire is where I'm going to put it. So that'll be best for weight displacement, and will allow me to get rid of this big old battery tray, which is going to be nice. It's going to clean up the bay quite a bit. So let's get started with that. Alright, that looks pretty good. Get all this stuff out of here. Well, this radiator from Pulley Master doesn't fit the factory locations like it's supposed to, but we can make it work. It does have the lower outlet on the correct side for the Magnum motor, so we can make that work. I have to find a proper hose for the upper and lower positions. And the fan clutch that I originally ordered for it is too long, so I'm getting a 2947, which is like a ½ inch shorter, specifically designed for hot rod stuff when your engine bay gets squished by a bigger radiator. So I've got that ordered now. Future, I'm probably just going to order that one right off the rip. I've got the battery tray out. I'm going to go ahead and put the battery tray in and start running my battery cables. I'm going to make a hot block probably up on the firewall, and then run all my powers off of that. I need to make my power steering hoses, and now I have a place to put my power steering reservoir. Now that maybe up here, and it'll probably end up being right off the front. I need to get my thermostat outlet, because it's different on the Magnum engine than the earlier 318. So lots of little things that are different. I need to get hose fittings for those as well. Let's get our battery placed in the trunk. At least I can say I did a thing then. So I've got a battery box. Still be able to get to his jack if he needs to. And hinge hits it just a smidge. So we're gonna be right about there. I think that'll work. So let's go ahead and tie that thing down, and we'll start drilling some holes for battery cables to go through. I mounted my remote power steering fluid reservoir over here up front after removing the battery. Gives us a bunch of room up here to play with the stuff we need. I've already started building my power steering lines. I needed a cutter that will cut these. I normally cut them with a cutoff wheel. I decided to invest in a pair of actual cable cutters that will hopefully work better for this stuff and give me nice clean cuts. I'm going to have a pressure hose about like that. I have a return hose about like that. And I'm going to have my gravity supply feed right about like that. So those three will work together and be kind of fancy looking. We got the new radiator installed. It barely fits, but it's a considerable amount larger than the old one. In fact, the old one I thought I was going to be able to use my fan clutch, and with the new radiator, no satisfaction. So it's just, I mean, it's too close. So I looked on the fan clutch manufacturer's website, and I figured out they make this guy, which is a 2947 from Hayden. And it is specifically designed for when you put a bigger radiator in a old school hot rod. Looks like it's going to work a lot better, assuming the fan clears the pulleys. So that's going to work perfect. Let's get a fan on there and see if it'll work. I need to put the spacer in there to get it centered, but we're looking pretty good. We do have a collet that can go in there to change the size, and that will work. That will work nicely. So that gives me my center. Looks like I have some lock washers in here. And that's probably for the bolts. Alright, so I have my new cooling fan. And sometimes you always want to start these 4 bolts by hand. In this one here, I actually had 2 bolts that wouldn't go in, so I just rotated the fan on the fan clutch, and then I started them again by hand, and then I finally found a spot where they all 4 went in by hand. You don't want to force these in. They will cause problems if you end up cross-threading one of those, but the fan should go on with the bolts going in finger tight. So let's check our fitment. I'll go ahead and torque those down. So this is a 19.5-inch fan, which should be plenty, but it's going to be hard to do with one hand. And this Hayden fan clutch fits. Fan fits this piece. It's too close to the pulley system. Luckily for us, when we ordered the pulley system, we told them we were going mechanical fan, so they sent us Mr. Spacer, which apparently needs a, you know what, I don't understand how that fits, because that's the side for this, and this has a recess in it, so it won't sit flush on the pulley. So that's confusing. And it's
Are there instructions?
And it's the wrong diameter. Not for that.
Maybe that's to go with the wrong bolts that we also got?
No, the bolts that we got were the wrong thread. And they're...
Yeah, but they're for a totally different... They were for a totally different water pump.
I'm sure, yeah.
So maybe that's also for
Well, I mean, it says universal.
Yeah.
Rapid fan spacer, water pump pulleys. So I'll need another collet like I got on this. Correct that. And then that would fit. But it still has a recess there that I don't understand why it's there, because this should be completely flush.
Yeah.
To match up with that guy.
Is this supposed to go? No, it couldn't go inside it because then it would change the.
Yeah, it doesn't go inside of it, but it would also change the dimension
Yeah.
of the
The track of the belt.
So I guess we'll call them tomorrow and ask them about that. I mean, I can cut that off of there, it's not a big deal, but custom stuff, there's always extra work. It's just the reality of working on custom stuff. But I don't know what that application
Clearly,
would
that's
be
machined
for.
for.
It's clearly machined like that for a reason, but we need it to be the smaller diameter and we need the backside to be flush. But with this on there, that'll give us the gap we need.
Woo, she's tight.
It's about as tight as you can make it,
Yeah.
and it'll be a little less because we'll just cut that. I'll just machine the back of that collet off.
Yeah.
So we need a spacer like that that's about a third or 2/3 the thickness. So I may just chuck it up and cut it back. Have a good night, man. I love this serpentine belt kit though. It's awesome.
Give me a couple of them.
Yeah, enjoy spending that. We are going to be putting an ACES fuel system in this with the surge tank. I was going to hide this beautiful piece of bling under the fender, and I have since decided to mount it right on the fender well so that, one, it shows off the goods, but two, then we'll be able to read the fuel pressure, so if the car for some reason breaks down, we'll be able to verify fuel pressure without running some sort of, I mean, I could run a remote gauge up through the fender, but 4 small holes in the inner liner, we can bolt it up, and then we can plumb everything and wire it. I think it'll look good. I can only, when I'm at this stage of build, there's so many little things that need done that I often will get a couple tasks completed. I'll have a couple roadblocks that I run into, and then I'll walk away and try and figure out solutions, and then I'll come back and work on it some more. I need different plug wires because I had 90-degree plug wires, and I'm going to need probably 45-degree plug wires for this. So those are coming. Yeah, lots of little things. Lots of little things to do. Keep after it. Doesn't fix itself. No big deal. Just a minor setback. Just put that there before I forget where I put it. Alright, so we made the call. We spoke to the fellas at CVF. This is not a piece that they actually make. All of their pieces have a part number etched into them. And I have since probably thrown away the box it came in. We picked up a spacer, which will give us our hub center. That'll align our 5/8 shaft up to our 3/4 shaft. I need to trim it down just a hair, and then I'm going to cut this recess off. So I'm going to chuck this thing up in the lathe. I only have to cut off that section. I just want it to be a completely flat surface. So let me do that real quick, and then we should have our solution for cooling fan. Then I will be mounting our ACES EFI command center. I was going to mount it under the fender and hide it, but it's such a sexy piece. it's going to end up right there, which will complement the power steering reservoir on the other side. Having that battery tray out of here is a huge gain in space. So then I made this power steering line earlier today. Go ahead and cut my other two lines down, make them fit. So then my power steering will be resolved. Moving along. Problem solved. Alright, so I machined down my spacer. I machined down the flange on the inside of there. So we should be good to go. Assuming I did everything correctly. Work. That's the ticket right there. Alright, so now my spacer fits nice and flush. I can mount my fan, bolt it down, and then that speed bump has been overcome. So I actually have to go pick up my daughter from college. We're having a family weekend, so I gotta head out. No more time today to play with other people's toys. Thanks for watching, checking out what we do here in the shop. This is one of those cool hot rods that somebody's allowing me to make into a better car. Certainly going to be more drivable, more fun to utilize in the modern roads. But thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, leave us a comment below. Tell me what you guys think of this CVF Serpentine drive system, because I think it's amazing. I'm going to really enjoy seeing it in action once everything's in place. Which, I got a rear axle to do on a Chevrolet 5500 tomorrow, so I probably won't get back to this until next week. But thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one.